You're listening to Permission to Shine, the podcast. Stories of overcoming obstacles and finding self-empowerment with Sherisse Bisram, Inner Power Activation Leader. The Oxford Dictionary describes permission as the action of officially allowing someone to do a particular thing, consent, authorization. What if you were that someone and you gave yourself the permission to be everything you wanted to be and more? No more playing small and accepting less than. You are worthy of the life of your dreams, regardless of what it is that you've been through. And honestly, it's exactly what you've been through that has shaped you into the version of yourself that you are now. Like a diamond, you've endured so much, but instead of breaking, you have become stronger and brighter. And if that's not a reason to shine, then I don't know what is. And if nature can do it, then why the hell can't you? You are brave, you are strong, you are powerful, and you are enough. Hear my call and give yourself the permission to shine, because you don't realise how many people are inspired by your light. Hi everyone, and welcome back to season 4. Oh my god, can't believe that it's we've been doing this for so long, and I'm so grateful for everyone that listens, and for all of the guests that I've had on, and for the amazing guests that I've got coming on this season. I've had so many international guests this season coming up, so I'm really excited to share with you just some really beautiful insights and knowledge. And what really has been coming up quite evidently for me is that with every level that I grow, the people that come in to join my podcast and be on my podcast are a match of that. And that's just such a beautiful experience to really see like what's in your mind manifest outwardly, and I talk about all of this stuff all of the time, but actually seeing it in true form, that is incredible. So I'm really excited to share with you all of that amazing stuff that we have coming up, but also just to kind of give you an overview really of like where I've been at, what's been happening. So obviously I've had a few weeks off if you've listened to time. If you haven't listened to time, obviously, it doesn't affect you personally, but if you are listening on the dates, we have just had the summer solstice and a full moon in Capricorn, which is still going on right now. So it's all about closing out old karmic cycles. So with the summer solstice is obviously the longest day of the year, and it closes out the winter solstice, which obviously was the longest night of the year. So on this time, it's really great to just reflect back on what has been happening over the last 6 months or so. What was the goals that you set for yourself in the winter solstice, or maybe even the new year? Have you achieved any of them yet? Or are you actively working towards them? What's been the overview of that? And also, what amazing things have happened in the last 6 months? Now, you don't even have to be listening up to date to be able to look at your life and just reflect back and say, do you know what? I didn't plan for this to happen, but these amazing things happened as a byproduct, and there'll be something good in all of it. If you did have something unfortunate happen, like you got laid off your job, for example, did that give you the freedom to pursue something you're passionate about? Like look at those little things, because as I always say, what we think manifests more of, right? So if you're thinking about all of the great things that happened, then you're just telling the universe that basically you want more great things to happen. So that's a really lovely way of looking at that. And then with the Capricorn full moon, it's mirroring what happened with obviously the new moon in Capricorn, which again is roughly about 6 months-ish or so. And because Cancer and Capricorn are opposite sides of the zodiac, that's why it's a complete karmic wheel. And we're about to have 2 full moons in Capricorn. So this little window really is about releasing out what no longer serves you. We have Saturn, which is the ruler of Capricorn. That is also conjunct at the moment in the sky with the sun. So it's all amplifying the energies around structure. So what old structures need to crumble? What old routines no longer serve you, or belief systems that you've had no longer serve you? And can you release them now? So if you are listening today, this weekend, you can do that. And I urge you to just do that anyway, and with the full moon is all about release. It's all about letting go. So really be intentional with that. What can you let go of now? And again, when that full moon comes up again in a month's time, it will just reiterate all of this energy, and we won't have Saturn conjunct anymore. We won't have Neptune conjunct anymore. So it's going to feel very, very different. Like this is the very heavy full moon. So if you are a cardinal sign, which is Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, you are going to feel this energy more so than anyone else. So you might feel like, you know, work structures are crumbling, relationship structures are crumbling, money structures are crumbling. They might feel like it's a very big death and rebirth moment, right? And when I say the death and rebirth, I mean, you know, the shedding of the old skin so the new skin can come through. That's what I'm talking about. So how can you look at what's happened, you know, in your life as a whole, maybe what's happening right in front of you right now? How can you look at that and take the best parts from it? Because when we don't take the best parts from it, that's when we start to fall into victim mentality and we think that life is against us, or, you know, that we are unlucky or unworthy, and we fall into those loops of negative thought patterns, limiting beliefs arising, and all of this feeds each other. And I always say, you know, misery loves company. So your mind is having a conversation all the time. Whether you can hear it or not, there's always an internal dialogue happening in your head. So the thoughts that you're feeding are the ones that are most dominant. So if you are having a down day and you find yourself, you know, really moaning about everything or people, situations, you know, if you're doing that, you're going to see more of things to moan about. Whereas if you can identify that, yeah, that was a really annoying situation, I'm quite disappointed that that happened. However, because that did happen, it allowed me to see things in a different way. And now I can see that I need to do this instead of this. By reframing that, you then tell the universe, I've learned my lesson from that space. So then it will then create obviously more of the lessons learned than lessons to be learned, right? And that's a very nice way of sort of reprogramming your subconscious mind, which is everything that I do, as you all know, you know. And for anyone that's listening for the first time, you know, I specialize in this work. This is all of my thing, is the mindset shifts and the subconscious patterns, the healing of the inner child wounds. All of that is my bag. So, you know, if you're listening thinking, yeah, I really do need to start working through this, drop me a DM on socials, you know, follow me on my Instagram pages, on my TikTok. You can drop me a DM, or you can yeah, just head to my website, and you know, there's lots of options there. I am actually doing a free masterclass as well on Tuesday the 25th of June, if you're listening to time. That's 7:30 p.m. It's on Zoom. So if you want to join that, I'm going to be talking about how you can step into your lead character energy. So if you've been someone that's been stuck in loops of subconscious patterns that you know don't serve you, you've tried to make a difference, you are doing little bits of work here and there, but you want to put the cherry on top of the cake and you want to really excel, this is the space for you to be in. And again, it's free, so it's a great chance for you to see how I work and to just soak in some value. So I just thought I'd say that then while it's relevant, you know. And if you're not listening to time, there's always replays. There is always I will be trying to repeat this as much as possible. So if you're looking for just a free way to access what I do, obviously do that. And I have free meditations on my page as well. My page, yeah, my social media pages on my website, you know, all of the things. But that's just for anyone that doesn't know. And just a reminder, because I think sometimes we get caught up, and it's been a while, you know, it's been a few weeks, as I said. So yeah, basically my journey the last few weeks has definitely been that, you know. I think that what I've learned really massively, and you know, for the ladies that are listening, what I urge you to do for yourself is to lighten your load. Yeah. I feel like that boss babe mentality, that um, you know, you can do anything in a really hustle culture way, that just doesn't serve, right? And I don't know how many times I need to say that. And it's really interesting because I've got a couple of guests coming on speaking about this, and from a male perspective as well, which that episode is incredible. And I can't wait for you to hear that and to hear your thoughts and feedback on that. But I think what I've learned is I do not do well with lots of workload, overthinking, pressure. That just isn't where I sit. And I never have, to be honest. I've never sat very comfortable in that. But again, because I've been caught up in that boss babe way or that hustle culture way, it was all I knew, and it was survival. I had to work multiple jobs at one time because obviously I was trying to, you know, make a life for myself and make a name for myself and all those things, and wear my badge of honor as the hardest working person alive. But post healing, I've learned that and obviously, as I say, post healing, I mean post healing the mass trauma. Obviously, we're always healing every single day, but I've really learned that I'm not comfortable in that space. And sometimes life enables us to be in those spaces that we're not the most comfortable in, so we can learn something again, right? And I think that that's really been a reminder of the past few weeks, is that I need to do the best I possibly can to not be in a situation where I'm overworked, because I don't get the best out of myself. So I'm saying this out loud, and I'm saying this to you because I want you to be aware of yourself for how much you do that. Now, obviously, I run a business. I'm doing working with clients. I'm still delivering in schools and, workshops and things like that. There's lots I'm doing all the time. Yes, I could do with a VA. And if you're listening right now and you're a VA and you want to work with me, drop me a DM. But what I'm saying is there's a lot that I'm juggling all of the time, and I need to give myself more grace. Now, this week, I definitely have given myself more grace. The last few weeks, I didn't, and I found myself tethering on the edge of burnout. So, in that time, what I did was I doubled down on my self-care, on my self-love practices, and that serves me every single time, because the harder you work, the more self-love you need to be having. Now, again, just to reiterate, self-love isn't the fluffy things, it's the moments of stillness, it's the moment to recharge and to fill your cup up. So it could even be just, sitting in the garden for 10 minutes with your bare feet on the grass. That, have a cup of tea outside, no emails, no phone, just sit there and just soak up that sunshine. That has been a godsend to me for the last few weeks. And, in England, the sun's been out more than normal, which is lovely. So I'm making the most of that. And as you know, obviously being a double Leo, the sun really affects me in a really positive way. So sometimes when the weather isn't great, I notice that my mood dips. So what am I doing to support myself in that? Maybe I'm making more of an effort to have a bath instead of a shower, because it means I get to soak up some me time. I've been listening to more audiobooks again, which I love, and I love reading as well. And it's so funny because when I was in my masculine state, before my healing journey really dived in, I was reading here and there, but not really as much as what I had done since I've been healing. And for me, reading is part of my self-care practice. I love reading. I love seeing other people's perspective and points of view. And that's why I actually love having the podcast as well, because I really like having these conversations. And it's something I've noticed just in my everyday life, because I'm so deep as a human. I don't have surface level conversations anymore. But I could just meet random people, like people's friends at a night out, and I end up talking about their life story, and they're like, wow, I've never told anyone this before. And I'm like, sorry, I have this effect on people. And they walk away feeling just really richer for it, which is lovely. So I just think it's just a reminder that in everything that we do, what you think and what you feel is what will manifest outwardly. So for me, double down on self-care at the moment, and taking time for myself, making sure I'm slowing down, that has served me exponentially in my life right now. Like, I can just see the rewards of being in that still space, having grace for myself and for life, and just being in that feminine energy, because as I always say, the feminine is the being, the masculine is the doing, and we need both. I can't run my business in my feminine energy all the time, but also I can't thrive in my business if I'm not being in my feminine. So everything is a dance. We're always going backwards and forwards. And on the subject of dance as well, like, I actually finished teaching at Pineapple. Now, for those of you that have been following me and follow me on social media, I taught at Pineapple Dance Studios in London for, well, 2 years, and it was over 2 years now, and it was a beautiful experience. And I think I said to you all, I don't know if I said it on the podcast or not, but I used to travel up to Pineapple every Tuesday 10, 12 years ago. And I would take like 3 or 4 different classes, saved up my money to go there. And, 10 years later, I get the opportunity to teach there. And it's been such a wonderful full circle. And I have been inundated with just beautiful messages from people that have taken my class. Even if they've taken my class once, they've messaged me to say how much I hold these beautiful safe spaces and how I made them feel seen, and just the most beautiful messages I could possibly ever dream of. And if I could only go back and tell younger Sherisse that she would do this, she would be here, she would help people, gosh, I would be so overwhelmed. Like, there's not in a million years would I've ever thought that would have happened back then, especially in that real state of trauma and trying to prove myself. So it's just been like a really wonderful full circle for me to really step out of that. And that's given me as well more freedom, which, again, as I said, has been so needed. I used to choreograph on a Monday, then choreograph on a Tuesday, then travel down. It was quite a big process. And even taking time to choose the songs, like that was all taking up time as well. So it's been really interesting how I felt very natural in not having to do that as well. And don't get me wrong, like I've not gotten out of not teaching at all and teaching dance at all, because I've still done little bits here and there, but it's really nice. And I love it. I love having this balance. And that's something that this been developing for me constantly, is the fact that I get to choose what I do and when I do it. And it's, yeah, freedom that you just can't find anywhere else. And yeah, that does take sacrifice, and it does mean that sometimes the work is heavy loaded and sometimes it's not. But I just feel like I get a richness out of life that I never would have gotten before if I hadn't, yeah, chosen this reality. Like I could have fallen into full-time employment and done it that way, which, you can still do full-time employment and live your soul's purpose and enjoy life to the fullest you can. But a lot of people don't. And that's why, I'm good at the work I do, and I have people come to me because they need to find that balance for themselves, and they're ready to do this work, be radically accountable, be comfortable in themselves, in being, in stillness, and letting go of the version of themselves they used to be, and allowing their inner child to feel seen, heard, and understood and held. That is just it to a T, right? And that's exactly what I've been able to give myself through, teaching at Pineapple was, an inner child moment for me, but also, this stillness. Like I don't need to prove myself to anyone. And that's what I spent a lot of my life doing. So it's been a really, really wonderful time for me. And, turbulent up and down as always, because we're human. But as always, I practice what I preach, and I'm just proud of myself. And I hope that you listening right now, you can again look back at what you've achieved the last 6 months and be like, you know what, I'm really proud of myself for doing that. And even like your life as a whole, if you look back on maybe some dreams and aspirations that you had as a kid, like maybe it was even to travel outside of Europe, and you've been able to do that, those little nuggets like that. Or maybe you always wanted to reach a fitness goal that you've reached, maybe run a marathon or something like that. That's happened recently. What are the little things that you made a dream as a child that you've been able to achieve as an adult? Maybe it was that you just wanted to meet an incredible partner and settle down, and you've been able to do that. There's little wins in everything, even down to like you just wanted to cook home cooked meals for your family or for your loved ones, and you get a chance to do that now and you love it. It's life doesn't have to be about the big shiny accolades. And I did a video on this recently on my socials about life is the small moments, right? And it's the moments in between the accolades. So, if you've all your whole life you just wanted to meet someone, get married and have kids, life is the moments in between that. Yeah, you wouldn't develop a rich, beautiful relationship if you weren't pouring into each other, pouring into yourself. All of these things are interconnected. We are interconnected beings, and I was a guest on someone's podcast, and I'll share that, in a few weeks when that comes up. But, what I said on there was everything happens for a reason. So even if things have felt hard at times, or you've been through something difficult, that thing had to happen for you to learn the lesson that you had to learn, for you to become the version of yourself that you are now. And actually, sometimes it's that if you didn't go to that event, if the thing that you were meant to go to didn't get cancelled and you didn't go to that event, you wouldn't have met that friend that introduced you to the employer, and you wouldn't have the job that you have now, right? It's all of those little moments that you can take note of and just really be like, yeah, life had to be that way. And I think that, yeah, this is just an episode really for you to take awareness of that for you. Like, how has life unfolded for you? What have you achieved, even the smallest of things? And what are you ready to let go of? Because a new cycle is emerging. We're coming into, if you're listening to time, a summer period where in the UK, you're flourishing. You get to flourish. Now, your inner world might not reflect the outer world right now. You might be going for an inner winter, and that's okay, because we can't be blooming all of the time. Sometimes we need to go inward. We need to let the leaves fall off so they can regrow again. And I just want you to really just take awareness of your life, where you're at right now. And if you are listening and have the capacity to write some things down, please do, because this is part of my work. Everything I teach is practical. It's not just for you to listen. It's for you to take note of it and make changes in your life, or step forward into that, even if it's not an action per se, but a being shift. Like maybe it's like, actually, I don't want to be someone that sits in their victim mentality anymore. I want to be someone that just, reframes the way that they think. That's really what I want you to sit in and understand and learn from this one, because it's just a recap really of what's been happening for me, the astrology updates, but also what's to come. And it's exciting and it's beautiful and it's expansive, and I can't wait to share with you all of the new things that are coming in for sure. So I'm going to leave that there, because I think I've said what my heart needs to say to you. And I just hope that you don't get caught up too much in trying to achieve everything at once, and you just enjoy the journey. And I think that's so important, because yes, a diamond is made through going through adversity over and over again, and then it shines. But actually, you can just shine as you are. Like being a rock is still beautiful. Like look at all of the crystals that you have, if you have any. They're essentially just rocks, so, and they're still beautiful and powerful and have healing properties. Like, you don't have to be outwardly shiny to be beautiful, so just accept yourself, flaws and all, because like life is not easy all of the time. You get to choose a different way, as in, like, you don't have to be a victim anymore, but you can accept that things feel difficult at times. But what are you learning from that, and how are you growing from that? And actually, sometimes you just need to be in that just for a moment, accept it, surrender, and you will naturally find your way out without having to struggle too much or push too hard. The universe is always working in your favor and for your favor, so trust it. But don't stay stuck for too long. I have a blog about victim to victor, which I've just uploaded on my website as well, so I'll pop the link into that if anyone wants to read it. And also the link for my free masterclass, which I'm so excited to share with you. I'm really looking forward to it as well. It's the first time I've done a free masterclass like this before, live. So I'm really excited if you can join me live for that. If you can't join me live, like I said, the replay will be sent out, but you need to, sign up within the next few days to kind of get access to that and the replay. But I'm excited for all the guests that I have for you, and to just see you flourish in this summer season, if you're listening today, or flourish whenever you're listening. You are brave, you are beautiful, you are strong, you are enough, and you are worthy of your dreams. And I haven't said my affirmations on the end of my podcast for forever, so I just felt like you needed to hear that. But send you so much love and light, and I will speak to you soon.
If this episode resonated with you, please do like, follow and share with someone that you know would benefit. If you're looking to dive in deeper to becoming your most unapologetic, most authentic, shining self, please do head to my website and join my newsletter, where you'll find out about all of my upcoming events and speaking opportunities and all of the things that I have going on. And also, if you would like to work with me, please do drop me a DM on any of my socials or through my website. Love and light.